As a test engineer, you constantly receive new software to test, and every build you get comes from a specific software branch. As a tester, you may not create branches yourself, but you need to know how to handle them as a tester. So understanding software branches helps you to plan testing properly, avoid wasted test runs, and to trust the test results you produce. This video covers what software branches are in practical terms and what they mean for system test. A software branch is in principle a parallel version of the software container. The development team is working on several versions at the same time usually, and each one evolves independently for a while. The main version is like a trunk of a tree, and other versions split off into branches for specific reasons. For example, to add a new feature in isolation, to stabilize a release before shipping, or to fix a bug in a version that is already in the hands of the customers. Every build you receive for testing comes from one specific branch, and a different branch can behave differently, even if software versioning looks similar. So the information of the branch answers the question, which version of the software is this build and why it exists. In practice, you will see different kind of branches in your daily testing work. The main branch, also called master, is where new features are merged to. Here you test usually early with smoke tests or quick regression tests. The release branch is the version being prepared for shipping, and here you need thorough testing and usually execute all tests relevant as regression before shipping. Then a hotfix branch is for an urgent fix to a version that is already in the field or in the hands of customers. The change is usually small and very targeted, so you test the fix plus a regression test to make sure that other areas did not break. And then there are also feature branches where isolated work happens for new capabilities or changes of the feature. Here you usually do integration testing of this specific new feature. The important thing is to realize that the same product can have several of these branches that are worked on at the same time. One customer also may be running on a released version, while another customer is still on a previous one, and the development continues in parallel on top of that. Because of that, a few challenges arise that catch testers again and again. The first is the assumption that fixed on the main branch means also fixed for the customer, and that is not the case. The customer might run a release branch and the fix has to be ported back to that branch and tested again. The second challenge is hardware and software mismatches. A software branch might assume a specific hardware revision, so it has to be checked whether the branch is dependent on the hardware or not, and whether the test setup matches with this dependency. Third is a potential variant explosion. Many branches multiplied by many product variants and configurations lead to a lot of different things to test. At some point, it is impossible to test every possible combination, which is why you need a clear strategy about what gets covered where and when. The fourth challenge is that the same bug might be tested twice or even more. A single fix may need to land in several branches at once, and it probably has to be tested on all of those branches then. Each one is a separate test run with its own results. And the last challenge is a silent drift between branches. Branches that live too long become hard to merge back, and defects appear at the integration that needs to be checked then specifically. So for this case, you probably have to run separate regression tests just to check that the merge of a branch back to main worked properly. So in the end, always be aware which branch you are testing and why. The test scope, the test environment, and the test execution may depend on the specific branch that you are testing. So plan and document it accordingly.